Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. On this Sunday evening at 9 p.m., I have the pleasure of company of Sri RVS Mani. And we stumbled upon this topic literally by just going through and a spat that took place online between Anand Ranganathan and Waris Pathan of AIMIM. And when some claims were made, we started looking into it, and what we found was very, very interesting. To tell you all about it, let's welcome Sri RVS Mani. Mr. Mani, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram and thank you very much for this. As you already introduced the topic, I would also like to thank Anand Ranganathan for bringing this into the public debate so that I could do further research. I was provoked to do further research. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. And we are, viewers, we are going to set the context here really quickly. And we have some data. This data was collected from websites of the government, and it is all black and white. There is absolutely no ambiguity here. So we're going to tell you what the data is and see how we can explain some of the discrepancies. So let's have the slide, please. All right, so what you're seeing here is the total number of houses sanctioned since 2019 for many states. We are going to look only at Uttar Pradesh because Uttar Pradesh is where the state elections are being held. And what you see there is a row of states like Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttar Pradesh, and all that. What we did was we just zoomed in on the last 3 years data of Uttar Pradesh. Now, the way to read this is, if you can't read the fine print, the way to read this is that in 2019 to 20, the total number of sanctioned houses under PMAY-G, and Maniji will explain what PMAY-G means. Total number was 178,371. This is for Uttar Pradesh, and of those, 3,151 were sanctioned for Muslims. We are looking at whether the BJP government helped Muslims also construct houses under the PMAY-G scheme. Now, Waris Pathan, I should say, Waris Pathan claimed that 0 houses were constructed. Now, this is where things get interesting. Now, we are going to show you 3 years. First one, 3,151 was 2019-20. 104,086 is 2020 to 2021. And 22,246 is from 2021 to 2022. The 2021 fiscal year started on April 1st. This data was replied on 10th August of 2021. So, 4 months, 22,246. So what does sanction of the houses mean? And here is where the next slide tells you what it means. Whenever there is a sanction, the first installment will be released to the beneficiary electronically in the registered bank account of the said beneficiary within a week, 7 working days from the date of issue of sanction. So the money has gone to the particular individual in his/her bank account. Okay, so far everything is clear. This is how the process has been working. Next, please. Now, what has happened is, when you look at the completed units, so just understand this. The people got the first installment of money, okay, and then they will not, if they don't complete, they don't perhaps get the second installment. Mr. RVS Mani will explain that part. But if you look at the last 3 years, 2019 to 20, 20 to 21, and 21 to 22, the number of completed houses is 0 across the board. Very, very interesting. This is for Uttar Pradesh. Before that, there was numbers, but for the last 3 years, it is 0. Now, next slide, please. So, Sanctioned houses is for Uttar Pradesh, sum total for the 3 years is 1,29,483. Completed houses, zero, zip, nada, nothing. Aryabhatta, you get the idea. So this is the question that we are asking. So if so much money to 129,483 individuals went, where did it go? Mr. Mani will help us find the answer for this. Mr. Mani, sorry for this long-winded introduction. I just had to set the context first before I ask you the question, sir. The floor is yours. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. Can you unmute?
I'm very happy that you gave such a long introduction. The contest and the clarity has to come out before we make some interesting revelations, because these interesting revelations does not augur well for certain set of people, and that is the reason the introduction and the research had to be absolutely thorough, because the three takeaways from the three evidences from three imputations from this are like this. First, I have perused a lot of intelligence report during my training tenure in the MHA, where it used to be said that the government funds are being diverted towards funding of anti-India activities, terror activities, etc., etc., etc. I'm not alluding to anything. I have heard these, and these are all been replied in many parliament questions, same parliament questions. In the same context, this is also arising out of a parliament question reply. I would also make it very clear that nobody, no one will dare to mislead the parliament, as that attracts attendant consequences, including imprisonment. So the officer drafting the reply, he has to be 100% accurate. Here too, it was right, and he has given all the facts threadbare. So on the reliability of data, there is no questions involved. How the data is used is a different context, but this is how these are all very clear facts. The issue is, as the guidelines have been presented, that APA immediately after the sanction, within 7 days, the first installment is released under this scheme. Thereafter, the beneficiary, the Labharti, has to go and begin construction of this house. To that extent, if zero has been the constructed work, it is very obvious that this money has not been used for the purpose for which the subsidy and the money was given. It is very evident, because 3 years, if it has not been completing, it is supposed to be a home in a 30 square feet area. It doesn't take tons of money or tons, even the work estimates also will not take 6 years or 3 years or 4 years time. It can be done in 3 months to 8 months time. Against the extreme force major and extremely adverse weather conditions, including the corona type situations, the construction could have been done in 3 to maybe 4 months or 5 months. To say that zero houses have been completed after having drawn the beneficiary or drawn the government money into the beneficiary account is simply not acceptable. So zero houses, if it has been completed, especially belonging to a particular ethnic community, it is pregnant with a lot of unpleasant possibilities that the money is getting diverted. And since, because of my experience, I am saying that on earlier occasions there are adequate reports, including replies to parliament questions, which can be perused from their own data, Lok Sabha website, during the period of 2005, 6, 7 and all that many of this money from the government benefits given to individual Labhartis have been diverted towards unsavory and anti-national activities. Even in the recent farmer protests also, so there were reports suggesting like this. So this is the sum total of the concern why we should have, why we are doing this, raising this question here. Any questions?
Yes, a couple of things. One question that I have is that so money is coming via direct benefit transfer directly from the government to the bank account. So if there is malfeasance, two possibilities that I see, and please feel free to let me know if there are more. One is that these are fake Aadhaar card based accounts, and therefore somebody who knows these things is deliberately choosing these things, and then the money gets siphoned out of that. Second thing is somebody who is in the government is actually hand in glove with people who are going to take the money out. But that to me sounds a little bit difficult, because once it hits the bank account, right, then if it is a legitimate account, the bank account holder only can withdraw the money. How can it just go without that? I'm just thinking. So the what I'm trying to say is the problem is that it's all going into fake accounts, in which case also, or if it goes to legit account, then something is happening once it hits the legit account. There has to be collusion on the center side. Do you agree with me, sir, or no?
I would have to put it like this. On the question of fake Aadhaar card accounts, fake Aadhaar card, which became the basis of the opening of these accounts, it is simply not ruled out. There is every much a possibility that this is true. On the other side also, you have to see the ground reality, the real time situation in this case. Notwithstanding the beneficiary account getting filled with the amount sanctioned and all that, there are certain, because in that particular community there are certain mischief mongers, there are certain intermediaries who park themselves on the head of these beneficiaries, the below poverty line people, pressurize them. They are gullible. They pressurize them and try to siphon out the money, promising moon and honey. In this context, this possibility happens. The irony is, it is also, you must have found that in many cases, I am not talking about Buran Wani or anybody, in many other cases, you would have found that the foot soldiers on terror attacks are arrested. But authors always try to find a way to escape. This trap also is in similar lines with that. The foot soldiers or the person on whose beneficiary account the money has been received and diverted for a nefarious activity will be caught with his hand in the candy jar. But because his name is there, officially it is his account.
Correct.
And the person who has pressurized him to part with the money would have escaped to go and do a terror attack in some other place. This fellow will also go through the rigor of a police investigation. Naturally, Indian police, we all know that they also do a lot of harassment and all, pressure, this, that, and all. So this is, and in the as a sequel to this, ultimately, if he is not found guilty, there is a case of victimhood playing by the same political entity which used him and put him through all the harassment. So it is a win-win situation for them. That is number one. Even in the present case, the idea, see, when when the allegation was made by the Waris Pathan that Modi government is, Yogi government is discriminating against the Muslims, and when it was rebutted, he only posted on the Twitter a particular statement which he wanted to conveniently peddle his own lies. The Labharti, the Muslim Labharti, has got the installments as per the first statement, statement number 4, at Annexure 4, page 4, which gives the right picture that how many have been sanctioned and how much of that total sanction has been the sanction to the Muslim beneficiary. But conveniently, he has suppressed that fact and tried to give the last page, whereas in the same last page, the imputations are very clear that the money has been diverted to some other place. We do not know the objective or where the money has been diverted. But if 3 years, as 3 months old work has not been completed in 3 years, the beneficiary has money has been snatched away from him and taken over by the sharks of the community. And so that they, by using this page 7, he is also peddling a lie. He is peddling Islamophobia, existence of Islamo. He is peddling a lie about existence of Islamophobia, which is non-existent. From the figures at the because the sanctioned amount and the receipt has already been ensured in the as per the statement in the and the guidelines of the scheme. But what our friend is saying, no. Zero completed. He has not said zero sanctioned. Why? What stopped him from them? In any other country, it would have attracted criminal proceedings. Because it is not simply that. He is giving a picture as if a picture of deprivation amongst the Muslims vis-a-vis their Hindu brothers, beneficiaries. That can cause a communal cauldron in this election year. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I have one question. Please finish your thought. I have a question. But
I call upon the Yogi government to file an FIR on this.
Absolutely.
This is trying to send the divisive trends between two communities, provoking them. So why the police complaint should not be filed against this Waris Pathan? That is my basic question. I respect him personally, but this is something which he has done is not pardonable. Please.
So, see, there is a carefully written script that is going to play out, and I'm going to make a separate standalone video explaining it more for the American audience. But I can clearly see that this data will find its way into the United States, and they'll say, look, zero houses built, Islamophobia. And people who are semi-literate, even less articulate, but will be elected congressmen / women for life, will be the ones sitting in judgment over this. And this is what will be used to try and convince our senators in the United States, who are considered to be a little bit more wise, to say, look, this is proof. This is the government's answer. This is the minister's answer. Here it is. What more do you want? This is the biggest state, 1/3 of the population. They'll make up some number. And they are giving no houses for the Muslims. They are being discriminated. So this is what I see is they have prepared the ground for this. Unfortunately for them, this is now blowing up on their faces. And I concur with you, sir. I think the FIR has to be filed. Not only that, you have to take this investigation to the logical conclusion.
Exactly.
Out of 129,000 applicants, can't you find one guy who will speak the truth? One guy. All you need is one guy. Because once you know the modus operandi, what exactly happened, then you can break it open. And my other question is, 30 square feet is too small, sir. It may be 300 square feet.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, go ahead, sir. You've gotten muted again. We can't hear you. It's muted again, sir. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Maybe the unit is wrong.
30 square meters makes sense. Yes.
So 30 square meters makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I'm not very sure about it, but this is what something, because uniformly it is given. It is no discrimination is there. If I have a larger plot, I can only that particularly so that minimum housing needs are met. And it is dovetailed with Swachh Bharat. Then these gas subsidy programs. These 269 square feet, somebody has said. Thank you very much for correcting me.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it is dovetailed with Swachh Bharat so that the toilet construction they will get special subsidy. That has not been reflected here. And it is also Swachh Bharat that fuel subsidy with the cooking gas subsidy. So there are several other benefits, not just first installment here. Based on that, he will get other subsidies from certain other programs and schemes. All of them have been swallowed. Where has the money gone? The basic question is, where has the money gone? Well, because the issue is it's very much more serious than simply a Twitter debate or a TV debate, where Waris Pathan has conveniently thrown a sheet of paper from the parliament question, which is convenient to him, but which is spreading the malice of a larger lie on three accounts: victimhood, peddling a lie to provoke the community against, to provoke division between two communities, and thirdly, the money going into false hands because the money's ultimate destination, the money which has been availed from government of India, the ultimate destination is not known to us if the houses has not been completed. Has it gone into Lashkar-e-Toiba? We do not know. Has it gone into any criminal syndicate? We do not know. Has it been collected as chanda? We do not know. Is it being used? Is the money being used to make propaganda against the same government whose money they have collected? We do not know. These are all questions which require answer. I I had invited Mr. Waris Pathan also on this discussion. I don't know why he has not joined. Had he joined, I would have been happier that I would have known that, because if he can tweet the entire single sheet of paper out of the 7 pages in the parliament question reply, which is only a ruse to peddle Islamic phobia or denial of rights to Islam, equal rights to Islam, or playing victimhood, then I should have. I'm just urging him to let go tweet the entire 7 pages of the reply so that the truth comes clean. And I would also thank, please.
There are two forms of truth here, Maniji. There is the convenient truth and there is the inconvenient truth. So he wants to just look at the convenient truth. I mean, this is typical politician behavior. I have some very luminous namuna, you can call them, in US who do the same thing.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
So that is very unfortunate. But here we are, basically, we are sitting in a state of threat on almost 365, 24 into 7, 365 days. Even the PM's life was spared had a close shave with a terror attack on 5th January, just 20 days back, or 17 days or 18 days back. And we also know that these type of siphoning our funds are one of the elixirs for these fellows, lifeline of these terrorists. Given this situation, it is important to track the fund which has been released from the government account to the Labharthis, the beneficiaries, whether it has gone into the hands of undesirable people, does it have any nexus, all those things I would have, and that is and why a particular community, MIM, we all know what it stands for. Why that their party personnel is spreading this inconvenient or unacceptable truth? Why can't he give the full picture? What is his purpose? Who is backing him? Now the question is whether the MIM itself is generating funds out of this. We do not know. Whether this will be, that's the reason I said whether it will be used in the UP elections, we do not know. But these are all questions that are begging for an answer. The nation wants to know. The nation begs for an answer to this question. And that is the reason I decided to go live on this. Any further questions, sir?
No, I'm done, sir. We can conclude. Then we have a few questions from our viewers. Very good questions. So perhaps we can try and answer those.
Please.
So let's have some questions, please. Raxi Boy wants to know, what was the first installment amount?
See, that is not, I could not go through the guidelines on that exact amount because it varies. Certain percentage of the total subsidy will be given as first installment, 4% or 5%.
Sir, usually if you don't mention anything, the way it is done is it is 30, 40, 30, sir. 30 meaning
Right.
initially you will be given 30%. Then after that, 40%.
That is the rate because the guidelines is at present silent on this. There will be
Yeah,
internal
yeah.
working.
Right.
Right.
IV Wireless LB McLeod. Can you please touch upon what should be done to implement uniform civil code and to bring anti-conversion bill?
Anti-conversion bill, some of the states are already on working, have already brought it out. On uniform civil code, we have a lot of Supreme Court directions on that. The directive principle of state policy, part 4 of the Indian Constitution recommends that, but politicians continue to play problems. And mind you, this Sharia law or the triple talaq or the nikah halala, I have written a blog and it is also coming out in my next book called Where Money Writes, that nikah halala has a economic current to that. Human trafficking happens under the garb of nikah halala. Triple talaq is has an economic undercurrent. So all these things is just not good politics. They also play economics out of that. So please, as long as that greed goes out of the community or the greed goes out of the people like this, it is very difficult. It is personal greed of certain many people from the political spectrum and other opinion makers and activists that they are peddling this. So see, basically the toolkit and all has an economic undercurrent. Please make no mistake, nobody is selfless. Everybody likes a good bank balance. Mr. Iyer?
Yes, absolutely.
So everything has an economic undercurrent to it. Who purchases whom, which opinion is planted, paid and planted, who is paid to tweet what. These are all the reality of today's situation. I'm not taking any names. So the entire toolkit, every component of it is paid for.
I think that's about it for questions, and I think we have summarized it very well. The Yogi government should institute an inquiry to get to the bottom of it. It's actually somebody is squandering taxpayers' money, and I think the taxpayers have a right to know. The nation has a right to know. And as always, a pleasure having you on our channel, Maniji. And as events unfold on this, we will be again having a conversation. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Sure. We will revisit it. Sure.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.